Hello, welcome back to the Fox Strength Performance YouTube channel. I am Taylor Fox, and we are at Powerbuild KOP for a deadlift session today. So, felt like I needed to do some kind of speed work, power work. So, threw the bands on, looking for a little more dynamic effort. I'm going to start off with this set as my last warm-up, and then add another red, and then we're going to get into some contrast sets. So, I felt like this was pretty good for today. Definitely felt the weight after doing the jump throw type movement and then moving into the contrast. You'll see I struggled a little bit with the transition, and typically when I start getting into like straps, belt, I'm gonna like nix the contrast aspect, but we did a kneeling jump into a med ball overhead throw today. So with that, I'll usually go from this right into like a deadlift with like a hook grip, maybe put a belt on, but like definitely the hook grip to get that transition within 20 seconds. Putting the straps on, putting the belt on just kind of slows me down, and it's tough to get everything done and set up for deadlift. I think this was still beneficial, but this is kind of like the limit, top end of like doing this, and I probably either want to remove it as a contrast or kind of switch to something else. But I got the cuff on the right elbow because I've been dealing with some lateral epi, so I didn't really feel good about hook gripping today, and I also wanted to use bands, and I usually don't like really emphasize using the hook grip with banded deadlifts. So all that led to straps, but I was like, I really want to do the contrast sets, and this is normally a movement that I would pair with like overhead press, or I would use for overhead press like prior to pressing to really get that hip extension and then the overhead explosiveness. I started doing it the other week because I had been doing a lot of kneeling jumps, and I really like the like push press, overhead press type of throw. Then I was like, maybe I just pair them together. I honestly like implemented it because I realized I cannot do a loaded kneeling jump, or at least I can't do it holding a weight. I need the arm swing. Otherwise I can't really build the momentum and get off the ground, which is unfortunate. I haven't really tried them with a weight vest or chains or anything like that, but I definitely can't hold a ball. So that was kind of my original idea, was to hold the ball, goblet style, kneeling jump, and then get right into the throw. So then I was like, well, I guess I'll jump, pick the ball up, and then throw from there, which is what I ended up doing. And I think this is a really good one, and also it's not too much as far as impact like some others that I've been doing, like the depth jumps and the depth jumps into sprints, like going through the hurdles. Like once you kind of learn how to kneeling jump, like as long as you're confident with it, it's pretty good, and it's a great way to get the hips extending. I was definitely feeling a little bit in my hip flexor, groin, hip on the left side, and I've been dealing with like some IT band issues as well, lateral quad. So at first I was like very iffy about going up to 4 reds because I was like, I don't like, this hip is like not extending. But I stretched it out a little bit, was feeling better, and the kneeling jumps looked good, and I think these moved pretty well. I was definitely like, this is my limit for today, but I'm pretty happy with this session and getting these deadlifts in. I thought like maybe I'd do trap bar, but then I was like, I should be doing this. Like, this is what I need to work on. I can, you know, trap bar all day. Like, I have a good trap bar, good frame deadlift. So I didn't really see a benefit in hitting that versus doing all the banded work, doing the contrast sets, and then getting into these Dimmel deadlifts where I pause for 5 seconds at the start and every 5 reps. And I'm trying to make them a little more dynamic. I don't keep up with these as much as I should, and I think they're really beneficial, and I don't think you need that much weight to do them. And I like the little wrinkle of the ISO hold at the beginning, moving into the dynamic. and disjoint, then trying to like force that hip extension as hard as you can, popping back down and being able to rebound from that position. And it's one of those interesting things that like came out of West Side and Dimmel doing them. Like those high reps, like people don't really see it logically translating, but just that volume, that repetitive movement really does seem to build the deadlift up well. And it's stuff like that. It's stuff like reverse hypers for repeated sets of 10 to 15, like pushing that weight like over and over and over again. They would even come back to the gym at night and do like extra reverse hypers. That kind of stuff just seems to build the lifts up like crazy. And it's like the same thing with like the winning warm up, like just build the volume because you need that muscle mass. But like with that kind of work, like you're not beating yourself up as much, and it's a long-term perspective. Like over time, doing this amount of volume, doing this amount of sets is really going to build that muscle mass and that work capacity. But you can't just like do it once. Like you have to be very consistent with it. So I plan to go from, start with 264, maybe start chipping my way up over time with the Dimmels and that kind of variation. But I don't see like pushing it well over 315 anytime soon. I'm really gonna stick with those sets of 12 to 15 and really try to push the volume for a while. And then I got into the hip press, seated one leg Atlantis leg press, which is an awesome piece and really love doing it. And I felt it so much in the glutes, but then also really, as I get into my strip sets, burned out the quads a ton too. I mean, I'm using it more like a lower foot type of placement, but it also is like, it's going to be more hip dominant, which I think for deadlift is really what you want. And it's a great accessory for that. The only thing I was like awkward about was like where to place my hands. That's like, it seems to make sense to put the one hand on the arm that drops, but then, I feel the hip coming up a little bit, but I think that's going to happen either way. But just, the stimulus that you're getting from this kind of thing is really going to transfer to the deadlift. And that's kind of how you want to pick your accessories, is like what feels like it's going to develop this ability for the lift that I'm training it for. I love a hack squat. I love the Atlantis hack squat. We have some other ones. We have the true squat from Watson as well. And those are all great, and it's like, that's a great squat movement. But if I'm looking at something specifically for deadlift, it's going to be something like this. It's going to be reverse hypers. It's going to be the inverse leg curl. Like what really has that kind of specific carryover for that hip extension type movement and hinge pattern. So I'm hoping that I can stay consistent with this one, because I have been doing like pretty minimal movements. You'll see like the session ends with this. So it's like deadlift, jumps and throws, deadlift supplementary movement, and one accessory, and we're done. So sometimes it's stuff like, I'm short on time, I will drop this. I'm just like, I'll have to, do it the next session or next week. But I'm hoping like I can stay pretty consistent with it. Like, let's keep this movement in, because it is good, and it's at this location. It's at Warrington as well, and they might have it at Philly, I forget, and I haven't been down there in a while, but it's readily available. It's something that I should be able to get to anywhere that I'm training. And I included I actually just put it in a story, but maybe I'll make a different piece of content about it. But I have like the hack squat setup that I do in my garage off of the cables with the spud strap. And I can actually do that single leg too. So that's the thing, like if it's really something that comes down to it where I can't get in the gym and use this, I do have something similar in my garage that I think has good carryover too. So either way, we're going to be getting the accessory in, and probably should be getting something like it twice a week between doing this and then doing the work in the garage to be able to build that kind of like hip press movement off, get that leg drive off the floor. I think this is an important point too. When you do these burnout sets, like make sure you pull the sleeve down after if you're wearing sleeves. I've cramped up way too many times just from keeping that compression on, keeping the heat around the muscle, and you really need to get that off and let the muscle breathe a little bit. So now I'm going to grind my way through the left side. Now this is the leg that has been hurting a little bit, and I was definitely feeling it on this leg as I did this press, but I was like, also my left leg probably kind of a little weaker, so I want to get this work in and really work on balancing things out and making sure that I'm strong on both sides. So didn't feel as pleasant as the right, but also I think it was doable, and I'll do some stretching and other soft tissue work, jump in the ice bath to work on that IT band issue and the other hip issues that I've been having. And thankfully the groin hip flexor thing was all good. You know, I've had some history, especially on the left side, of issues with groin adductor, hip flexor, and obviously got the IT band going right now, and all that felt good. I didn't feel any kind of acute issue with it, with the deadlifts, with this. So I'm really happy, and I feel like I got through this session very effectively, drenched in blood and sweat, and ready to move on to the next week. So I'm pumped and look forward to some more videos at both locations as I keep training. Also mentioned the ice bath, so I will be releasing the mod tub video soon. Honestly, it's been pieced together from a bunch of different days and a bunch of different sessions between setup, fill, usage. So getting that all together and getting ready to put out some more content like that. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Until next time, keep lifting those heavy weights and hold strong.